Do you think the markets are absolutely bricking it over a Keir Starmer premiership?
No. What they're worried about was the mini budget and the uncertainty that ended up causing. So what has basically happened is that the market lost confidence in the ability of this government to actually run the economy. And that's going to be really hard to actually come back from. Now, your poll, the 30-point lead for Labour, is actually in tune with a number of other polls that have come out over the last couple of days. Now, OK, when the general election comes, it'll narrow. It won't be anything like that. But I think that we've seen a Prime Minister and a Chancellor who've tanked the pound, wreck the economy, and that's what the real reason is for the markets doing what they're doing.
OK, Daniel, I'll bring you in now. Daniel Moylan, Tory peer. Do you think this has been a bit excessive, to be honest with you? I mean, a couple of tax cuts are announced that are going to come into force in April. Keir Starmer produced something in conference which was pretty much uncosted as far as I could see. Keir Starmer's the oracle. Kwasi Kwarteng's taken a flamethrower to our economy. What's going on?
Well, first of all, I'm happy to say I think the Conservative Party is facing a sort of political crisis. But I think a lot of this rubbish about the financial markets as if they were one thing. You know, I was waiting to hear Nigel say that he was rejoicing that the pound had gone back to the level it was at before the mini-budget and that the whole crisis was over. He didn't say that at all. He kept on talking about crashing the pound when it's all over. And we're back to where we were before. So the financial markets have been sort of placated on that. And there is the truth that we've had far too low interest rates for 14 years, ever since Gordon Brown and the financial crash in 2008. And that was always going to have consequences for inflation. And it's taken Putin's war to to bring that out with the pressures that he's put on the economy.
It's going to be fascinating, though, isn't it? I'll just bring you back in, Nigel. It's going to be fascinating, really, at this year's Tory Party conference. I'm hosting there 3 till 6, Monday to Tuesday. Cheeky little plug to get that one thing in your diaries. But it's going to be interesting because normally the kind of quiet confidence that potentially we saw at Labour is normally felt by Conservatives, whether or not that's just because they've got money in their bank and are related to elements of the landed gentry. We'll have to wait and see. But are some elements of the Conservative Party now really going to have to pull it out the bag to win back voters? How do you think they can do it? What can Truss do? She can't just talk about cheese farms or pork farms, whatever it was she said before.
No, she can't. And the first thing she must do is win back her own MPs. I mean, I know an awful lot of Tory MPs who are not going to get a conference this year. And you've seen sort of tweets being put out by people like Rishi Sunak saying that he wants to stay away so she can own the moment. What he actually means is so she can own the disaster that she's just caused. So the first thing to do, in fact, is to actually win back her MPs and probably some members of the party who voted for her, who are now having second thoughts. The next stage, obviously, will be to try and get back the country. But at the moment, I think that the government is in crisis, and what she's got to do in the final hurdle is actually save her premiership. It really hasn't got off to a very good start.
No, OK. Daniel, I will throw it back over.
Yeah, well, Nigel makes some very good points. And on this, I think he doesn't understand financial markets, but I think he understands politics. And he's got this absolutely right. The Tory party, first of all, you have to think the Tory party is a party I knew growing up with, was a party that responded to crisis by rallying round the leader, holding its nerve and showing its mettle. It's turned into a sort of the Conservative Party in Parliament, into a sort of vociferous sort of bunch of people who can't hold their nerve for 20 minutes. And they do need to learn the lessons of the past and actually realise that you literally cannot ditch prime ministers every time you have a fit of nerves. And Liz Truss is going to be the Prime Minister until the next general election. And you might as well get behind her, because there isn't going to be another one. And if there is, you might as well get out of Parliament anyway, because there won't be a Conservative Party represented there.
Daniel, I'll keep it with you. We are, as a nation now, being asked to choose between two incredibly dull people, aren't we?
Incredibly?
Dull.
Well, dull people. Well, we don't want excitement in politics necessarily. What we want, is solid policies that point in the right direction. And what this country has been missing is policies that support private enterprise, entrepreneurship, and all the things that lead to economic growth. And both parties in government, all three parties that have been in government over the last 10 years, have fallen down on that, and the Bank of England's been absolutely useless as well. And Liz Truss at least recognises that and is trying to do something quasi-Kwarteng and trying to do something to push in that direction. Whether it's the right thing, whether it's enough, whether it's complete is another question. Whereas all we get from Keir Starmer is more nationalise this, spend more public money on that, while at the same time the economy, the real economy, the wealth-producing economy has been going down the plug hole. And that isn't the right way forward. That is the way backwards. So I'm not saying Keir Starmer would destroy the country. I'm saying Keir Starmer would just cause us to carry on in decline. Liz Truss is trying to give us an opportunity to grow. We ought to give her a chance, at least more than a fortnight's chance.
Yeah, Nigel, why is it that people think that, you know, we've got to nationalise everything, we've got to put everything in state ownership, everyone's always got to have their hand out, and then someone says, go for growth, and it's, oh, my days, we can't have this is mental.
Well, I mean, go for growth is fine. In fact, that's actually what Keir Starmer was talking about at his conference. His way of going for growth is actually to improve the green industries and do it that way. That could create up to about 700,000 jobs. Liz Truss's way is to go for tax cuts, which a lot of economists doubt will actually do anything for growth. And most of the economists I've spoken to don't think this 2.5% growth target is achievable. Certainly not under the policies being displayed at the moment.
More government money to be spent this time on green jobs in order to get growth. I mean, it's always government money that's going to give us growth, but that's just nonsense. It isn't.